This time we're going to talk about the day in the life of an amputee. Let's get into it. It's story time. Where are all of my amputees? Where are you guys? Where are my people? I feel like I go sometimes weeks and even longer, and I don't see any. I'm the person walking around in life looking for people like me. Where are you? It's like if you buy a yellow truck, then you start looking for other yellow trucks, So 2 years ago, when I bought my yellow truck, I started looking for other people like me, like other amputees. And I was just like, where I know they're out there, but I just don't see very many. Like, I want to see a little more carbon fiber in my diet. You know what I mean? I want to see some prosthetics. I want to see, my favorite people are the people that are just bare nubbing it. The people that are just out there, like no shame in their game, just like letting it all hang out in the wind. You know what I mean? No limb socks, just totally out there for the world to judge, and not a care in the world. That's what I'm talking about. I want to be around my people. If you are an amputee, drop it in the comment right now. Let me hear from you. Let me know you're out there. Let me know that how you're doing it. Are you out there bare nubbing it? Are you out there just like, no, I got to get dressed. Like, if I bare nub it, somebody's going to call the police for indecent exposure. So I like my nub. You can see the size of it has gotten, well, if you've never seen it before, you wouldn't know. But by the size of my other leg, like the comparison, that's a big, big difference. That's the size my leg used to be. This here is my second prosthesis, and it is already too big. I had the first one I had for a whole year, and they, casted me and everything based on a leg pretty much this size here. And then they went a year, and atrophy settled in. If you don't work your ankle, which I have no ankle, then your calf muscle doesn't get any work and it shrinks down. So you have to keep adding layers. And these are my layers. This is the first layer for me. This is a liner. And then I actually wear 2 liners. I don't think anybody else wears 2 liners, but it's because my limb has gotten so small. And then I put limb socks on top of the 2 liners, and that fills up this cavity here, which you can see that, like, this looks like it's somebody else's. It doesn't even look like mine. It's just yeah. I've just lost so much mass. And the reason I lost like all of this mass is because when I lost the normal amount for the first year, and then I got fitted for a new one, and like in March, this is what the size of my leg. This is what size it was in March. But I impulsively decided to go on a keto diet. And so from March to August, I've lost like 40 pounds. And a lot of that was in here. I just didn't really think that through very much. So that's why I'm wearing 2 liners and 2 limb socks to fill up this space. And for those of you who don't know, because I didn't know until I got into this lifestyle, that's how I signed up. So the nub that goes in the socket is, the bottom of it doesn't even touch the bottom of the socket. It's not like we're just walking around pushing all the weight on the bottom of it. Where all the weight is around this part. It's like it grabs here, and this is how all of my weight is supported around the outside. So because this is way bigger than this now, I fill up that space with these liners and limb socks, and it gives me a nice comfort fit in there to where I can walk around comfortably. So I'll be eligible to probably get another socket yet. I'm going to wait, though. I can wait. I'm comfortable. I'm getting around just fine. But I'm not done losing weight yet. Still got a little bit more to go. which means this might still get smaller yet. I don't know. But it's starting to get loose skin. like like it used to be just always tight like this, which I think it's a pretty good looking nub. My surgeon did an amazing job. But now it's just getting a little bit loose on the end. I was like, I think I need a circumcision. A little cosmetic surgery, you know. Not that anybody ever really sees this thing, because I'm usually not out there bare nubbing it all the time. So when this thing happened, my family was really worried about me. They were just like, I was in a motorcycle wreck. I got hit by a car, and it smashed up the foot pretty good, but it also did something called a degloving, where the bottom of my foot peeled the sole off. Not off all the way, but peeled it enough to where when you get a degloving, there's no coming back from that. Like, you're committed at that point. You're all in for an amputation. So that's what happened to me. So when I was in the hospital, waking up, and my family's going to tell me, like, what happened. Like, do you know what happened? I didn't have any memory of it at all. I also conked my head pretty good. Got a brain bleed out of it. But that has since healed, so I don't really have any side effects from that. That has since healed, so I'm doing pretty good now. But my family was really worried, like, what the emotional effect was going to be like for me, having, it seems like a big deal. I probably would have thought it was a big deal too. If somebody's like, oh, they lost their foot, I would have been like, oh, that's horrible. But when I woke up in the hospital and they told me I was in a motorcycle wreck, and I was like, wow, okay, how's my bike? Like any good biker would do, you always ask about your bike. And they're like, yeah, the bike is the least of your worries. And then they told me that, you had your foot amputated. And instantly my mind went to a very peaceful place, because I was relieved. I was like, wow, that's amazing. Like, I'm really happy. And they're like, how could you be so happy about that? Because as a biker, you get on the bike, and just about every time you ride, you think, it goes through your mind, man, worst case scenario could happen. And losing your foot is not worst case scenario. So I was like, yeah, I'm good, because instantly I saw this. In my mind's eye, I already knew, oh, you get your foot amputated, then you get a prosthesis, and you walk. Now, I, of course, didn't know the details of how that was going to happen, or how long it was going to take to make it happen, but I already knew that I'm going to be fine. I'm going to be living my life. It's just a matter of time. And I even said in the hospital, like, I'm good. Like, let's get me a leg and get me out of here. I didn't know how it worked. And they're like, oh, slow down there, cowboy. You need to heal up. In the healing process, where they took this off and they sewed this up. And so the suture line is right kind of like this. You can still see some of the scar. But they needed that to be fully scarred, so that when I get fitted for the prosthetic, all the weight's being held here, and you can see it pulls that skin really tight. And if that weren't scarred up, fully healed, then I would just be ripping that thing open, and infection, and like, it would be so they make you wait. And it took forever. It felt like forever for this whole thing to heal up. And most of it was healed within, probably a couple months, but there were just a couple little spots that wouldn't close for some reason. And so I wrecked in August of 23, and February of 24 is when I got fitted for my first prosthesis. So having that vision in my head of knowing that I was going to be getting this and I'd be walking, it kept me from being sad or depressed or anything like that at all. I was like, yeah, let's do it. This is a new way to live life. And I'm excited about new things all the time. And I'm a bit of an attention whore. I don't mind talking about things. This is like one of my favorite things to talk about. And so, like, and people, like, I see other amputees, talking about they're really uncomfortable when people are staring at them and things like that. I'm like, that's not me. Like, if that's you, that's fine, if that makes you uncomfortable. But for me, I think it's fascinating. If I see amputees even now, like I want to look. I try to be appropriate. I try to be, you know, not make that person feel weird or whatever. But I want to look, and I know people want to look when they see me in public too, and I'm good with it. Like, look, pull out your phone, take a picture. I'm so good with it. A couple weeks ago, I was getting out of my truck. My truck back there is lifted, by the way. So getting in my truck now as an amputee is like, ah. But yeah, I'm not giving up the truck. So anyway, a couple weeks ago, I was getting out of my truck, and I swing my legs around and slide down out of the truck, and this woman and her daughter were walking by, and they both noticed me getting out of the truck at the same time. And, you could see their eyes go right, for the most different, obvious thing about me. And the mom quickly looks away. The daughter doesn't want to look away. And she's like, and so the mom is trying to usher her to, like, keep her from looking at me. And I'm, like, witnessing all this happen, like, I'm feeling like, she's so curious. And then she looks at me and she says, "What happened to your leg?" And I was like, yes, I love talking about this. So I said, the mom, of course, was like, no, we don't do that. I'm like, no, let her ask. She's curious. Like it's a very appropriate question. Like, let her be curious and let me answer that question. I love talking about it. It'll satisfy the curiosity in her mind about what's happening, and it'll make her more aware of it, and she won't be as like, as confused by it. So I explained to her, I was riding a motorcycle and I got hit by a car and I had my foot amputated, and I even pulled it out of the socket and showed her, I had my liners on and everything, but showed her like what that looks like to satisfy that curiosity. And I think that's the way we should all be. Let people be curious, and then let them look and let them ask questions, because that's how they become less curious. That's how they become a little desensitized to it. And they won't be staring as much as if they have a conversation with an amputee. It becomes a little bit more normal in their mind. And so I always welcome people to ask questions. Even if you have questions right now, drop it in the comments. I'll take the time to answer you. And I'm going to be posting content about my new life all the time, because I want people to know what amputee life is all about. I want other amputees to be able to walk around and not feel self-conscious. I want to encourage amputees to enjoy your life. Be you. Be different. Let the difference out there. Let people see it. Let people ask questions. I feel like I've gotten to this place now where it's all so very normal for me. I can't even imagine like what my old life used to be like. This is just me, like, taking a shower and getting around the house. Like, I wear this thing probably 14, 16 hours a day, but sometimes if it gets late at night and I've had a shower and I just don't feel like putting it on, I use a knee scooter to kind of scoot around the house, and it gets me around just fine. And then when I'm ready to take off, it takes me a few more minutes to throw my liner on. And in fact, let's throw that thing on right now so that you can see the process. This thing is inside out, and because I have the loose skin there, I found this little trick where if I pull the skin tight before I start this process, it kind of holds it in the most comfortable position for me. And I got a little one-handed trick I do here, and I slide it and I just roll that thing on. I want to put it this way. I don't know why. It doesn't really matter, but there's some OCD thing going on where I like the green, the light green side out. So, yep, I just roll it all the way up. And with a pair of shorts that I can kind of get the shorts up high on the thigh, then that gets me my liner on. And then, I'm sure below knee amputees are looking at me like right now, or really any amputee that wears a liner, like, you're putting 2 liners on. That is ridiculous. It is. It is ridiculous. But who cares? If it works, if it helps me be comfortable in my socket, and if it gives somebody else an idea, another amputee, to be like, what? Throw 2 liners on? So this one, the outer one, is a thinner liner than the inner one. So I got a real thick liner first, and then I put the thin one on. Then I throw a limb sock on top of that, and I throw another limb sock on top of that. I know there's probably some prosthetists out there that are just like, dude, go get another socket. I know. That makes the most logical sense. Then I just kind of squeeze it in there, and you've got the right fit where you can feel it starting to grab almost right away. And then it just, when I stand up, it'll just sink a little bit further down in there, give me a nice fit, and I'm off and running. People ask me about, do you have phantom pain? And the answer is yes, I do still have phantom pain. It doesn't interrupt my life, though. I just get these little waves of it, and so sometimes I'll be having a conversation. If anybody was around me a lot, they almost don't even notice this anymore. I'll just be like, ow, 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 ow. Because sometimes I'll feel pain like shoot across my toes, or I'll feel pain in the arch of my foot. And, the answer is because all the nerves that went to those places are still there. They just got pulled back up and wrapped up in my leg, so I can still feel sensation on the foot that's no longer there. That's what it feels like to my mind. So yeah, I get phantom pain once in a while, and I get phantom sensation almost 24 hours a day. I almost always have phantom sensation. I can feel my foot right now. I can feel like it's like almost like it's asleep. It's like tingly. And so yeah, I love that feeling. It's like almost comforting to me that I can just still feel it. And some people get what's called phantom itch, and I imagine that would be pretty bad. I don't get phantom itch, like, you can't reach down there and scratch it. But the sensation and the pain, both still part of my life. It's not interrupting my life. I'm not upset about being an amputee. In fact, in some weird way, I kind of love being an amputee. And somebody asked me, if you could magically change it, would you go back? And that's a rough one. One, it can't happen, but how do I answer that question honestly when I feel so content and so peaceful? Like, this change in my life has been a change for the better. So I think my answer would be no. Easy to say when it's not a real option, I guess. Thank you for watching. Hey, do me a favor. Hit that like button for me. Subscribe. Thanks so much.